The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Jesus took Peter, John, and James and went up the mountain to pray. While he was praying, his face changed in appearance, and his clothing became dazzling white. And behold, two men were conversing with him, Moses and Elijah, who appeared in glory and spoke of his exodus that he was going to accomplish in Jerusalem. Peter and his companions had been overcome by sleep, but becoming fully awake, they saw his glory and the two men standing with him. As they were about to part from him, Peter said to Jesus, "Master, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." But he did not know what he was saying. While he was still speaking, a cloud came and cast a shadow over them, and they became frightened when they entered the cloud. Then from the cloud came a voice that said, "This is my chosen Son. Listen to him." After the voice had spoken, Jesus was found alone. They fell silent and did not at that time tell anyone what they had seen. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
The word persona is derived from the mask that actors wore in classical times. Of course, in classical times, they didn't have glasses to contend with. But in Latin, such a mask is called a persona, something through which the actor spoke their lines. It's really the same thing actors do today. Set aside their real identity and take on a temporary personality. Even the word personality today has been taken over by press agents. So it's common that we call folks in Hollywood and the music world personalities. And of course, although it didn't used to be this way, it's no longer only the folks in Hollywood who have taken on a persona. Nowadays, newscasters, athletes, pundits, politicians have all become dramatists, and maybe even some clergy. And truthfully, if we're honest, you and I also change our persona. We are not the same person in the privacy of our homes that we are when we're at the grocery store or when we're online or when we're in church. Oddly enough, and very confusing, is that we use the very same words, person and personality, to mean the exact opposite of that theatrical presence. We use those same words to refer to our authentic self. There is an old preacher story about a young family. They go to lunch, let's say at Dodge Park Honey. The waitress comes by and takes the order. First, the husband, the wife, they give their order. And she looks over at their child, and the mother jumps in and says, "Oh, she'll have a grilled cheese sandwich." And the waitress ignores the mother and looks at the young girl and says, "What would you like, honey?" And over her mother's objections, the girl says, "I'd like a cheeseburger, please." And as the waitress walks away, the girl giggles at her parents and says, "You know, she thinks I'm a real person." The parables of Jesus are filled with real persons. Real persons like the Good Samaritan, the prodigal son, the destitute Lazarus, to name a few. And parables and stories, and I think particularly of Alice Walker's The Color Purple, give us a better understanding of personhood in its deeper meaning than do any abstract definitions. In today's gospel, Jesus is transfigured. And Peter, James, and John get a glimpse of who Jesus really is as the second person of the Blessed Trinity. In our communion hymn today, Sylvia Dunstan gives us the lyric, really the prayer, "Transform us as you transfigured." In baptism, we were transfigured. We put on Christ. We were clothed in Christ. And these are not just nice words. They're not just churchy words. They're not an actor's mask or a persona. This is who we really are. We are Christ for one another. Christ for our family, for our loved ones, Christ to our neighborhood, Christ to our parish family, and Christ to the world. And Lent is all about naming and claiming and being who we are. May we be transfigured this Lent. May we be the Christ we truly are.